Moving on, back to the book, you learn from men like Chafee, a Yaley with a law degree from Harvard, who came from money, a handsome man, physically courageous and tireless. From all that could have come arrogance, snobbery. But he possessed neither of those traits. He was only calm and vigorous and efficient, usually cheerful, decent and humane, a good man, a fine officer. And you learn from men like Corporal Geist, whom I heard one day expounding on what was wrong with war movies. You notice in the movies, Geist said, Marines never shit. John Wayne or none of them. They never have to take a crap, never. How can you believe the rest of a movie where no one ever takes a shit? I have to agree with that. And actually, if you read this book, he goes into some details about that are really good. Just some of the minute details, things like shitting, that are really they're hilarious to read. Mm-hmm. It's great stuff, and again, it's the kind of details that those are they part of the life.
Yeah.
You know, it's like in Iraq, you basically are always shitting in these little porta potties, porta potties, right? Mm-hmm. And so there's a whole, like, they're in the summertime, they're like saunas. We would call them saunas, blue saunas, because they were blue, and there's flies in them. And it just becomes its own little thing. Right, and no one's going to talk about that. Right. I mean, I guess I just did.
Yep,
but that's a big, like, when I'm at a event somewhere, and you want to talk about flashbacks? You put me into a porta potty somewhere and it's hot, I'm thinking I'm in Iraq instantly. And there's flies and it's just horrible. But that's the way it is. That's one of the little things. And he definitely goes into some great details in this book about all kinds of stuff that we don't really think about. Another thing that was interesting is he talked about his canteens being frozen. But back to the book, in this cold, dry air, your throat was always parched. Your canteen might be frozen and you longed for drink. I vowed once the war was over, never again to pass a faucet without pausing to slake my thirst with a glass of cold water. So you don't think about these guys being thirsty, but they were. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.